To be duly elected as President of the Republic of Zambia this 23rd day of September 2011.
For our party now, it's hard work. There's a lot of damage that has been done to this country by MMD. So it's not a celebration. It must be hard work now for my party and my president to rectify all the problems.
We were very happy because we wanted change and we finally have it.
There's no fighting because justice has prevailed. We are happy because Zambia, Michael Shilufi Sada, is our president. We're very happy. Soto! Champions against all odds! And for the first time, they are kings of all Africa. Emotional, poignant, of course, that it should occur in the very city where 30 Zambians lost their lives 2 decades ago. Gold medal for the Ivorian.
I was driven purely by love for my country and the urgent need to transform it from poverty to prosperity.
I further declare that Zambia is a Christian nation.
Europe and non-stop all the way to London Heathrow.
Vitamin chocolate for your good health.
Very nice and very good product.
Gorgeous protein chocolate.
Sebeta.
Mean to stop the train that has been put into motion by the wishes of the people of this country.
When will you fire off your first rocket and where will you send it to?
I will fight from Lusaka and it will go straight to the moon.
We in Zambia are peaceful people, peace-loving. I challenge anyone to say today here that Zambia is a warmongering nation.
Immediate post-independence era, I understand you were a high commission. You served as a diplomat, as a high commissioner to Ghana.
Yes,
So we just wanted to ask a specific question with regards to, I think it was in 1966.
When I went to Ghana.
Yes.
No, 1964. Immediately we attained independence.
Okay.
Yes, in November. It was 1964. Month of November when I went to Ghana as the first, I can say ambassador, but that they call higher commission. Mm-hmm. And I was young. Mm. So to be appointed as ambassador, I didn't even know what it meant. But I read. I followed it up. So on the day I met in Nkrumah, at that time Nkrumah captured the entire Africa. He was a leader, I can say, he was a leader of Africa, Nkrumah, who even introduced OAU, Organization for Africa Union, or AU, in Addis Ababa. So when I met him, Kaunda specifically told him, I am sending you to Ghana because you are a freedom fighter, so that you represent me in Ghana. I know Nkrumah is the one who helped us even to attain independence. So I presented my credentials to Nkrumah.
Oh, you met Nkrumah?
That because you have to present credentials.
So what was he like personally?
In Ghana, I was there in November. We attained on the 24th of October. And I was in Ghana on the 20th November. I was among the diplomats who were appointed by Kaunda. And he received all my life history. The person who you are going to receive is this. And this is and Nkrumah told me that I am happy you are a freedom fighter, and he went to prison. Nkrumah had very good personality. Very good personality. But his ambition was that Africa, we must form, like in America, United States of America. That was his ambition. We must form the United States of Africa. But each country can have their own flag. That we discussed it on that this is what my wish is.
Federation.
In Nkrumah. We were African diplomats. We were a few African countries who were independent. He called us. He told us his wish. That his wish, he has already organized OAU, is accepted. But we want to go further than OAU. We want United States of Africa with the president, with executive powers. But each country will fly their own flag. But we shall have one flag for Africa, United States of Africa. Mm-hmm. Then he said the independence of Ghana was meaningless when the entire Africa is still colonized. Then Kaunda repeated it here in Lusaka. Independence of Zambia is meaningless when we are surrounded by colonized countries, namely Rhodesia, Mozambique, South Africa, Angola, Southwest Africa. All these have surrounded Zambia, that our independence is meaningless. So that was copied from Nkrumah's speech. But later on, when the Americans saw where Nkrumah was going, they said this man is dangerous.
So during the Cold War?
Yes, they said this man is dangerous. If Africa can become one state, and the size of Africa, that this man is going to be dangerous. So many Africans, as the Kiwi, we are accepting that, yes, that is the only way we can develop. But now, before independence, before it became Ghana, it was Gold Coast. Because of gold. It was a gold mining country. Mm-hmm. And Ghana was rich. Just as ourselves, copper mining country. Suddenly, they said gold is no longer there. Now they depended on God. And the mines started gradually closing. Now he started now suffering. Because he got a lot of money, he wanted development, he wanted to create jobs and so on.
So there's an economic impact.
Yes, just as we did ourselves. Now the economy had a problem. Shortages.
And you were there at this time.
That is why I'm saying I'm witnessing. What I witnessed in Zambia during UNIP tours, and this is what happened. I even wrote a letter to Kaunda that this is the problem your friend has. He has no reserve. And he has got problem with IMF, how to pay back the loans. And he is the one who helped Sekou Touré. Because Sekou Touré, the French removed even inkwell. Everything was removed, even the curtains.
Destroyed everything.
Yes, when they left Sekou Touré. So he gave 10 million pounds. That was the capital for Sekou Touré. So Nkrumah. And he promised many schools. And he was building schools, education. But now, the budget was going down. Queues started wherever, just as it was in UNIP.
So it sort of happened before Zambia entered?
Yes, I was there myself. We as ambassadors, we were even called, if you want to buy something, you can go to the neighboring country.
Wow. So this whole dream of Nkrumah now...
Nkrumah, voicely, he was talking about Africa, condemning colonialism.
Yeah.
That this is being done by God is there, God mind. They are closing to squeeze him. Mm-hmm. And they depended on God mind. So they started even winding up. But God was there. He tried to go to Russia, Soviet Union. Soviet Union said, they are not experts in gold mines. If it were copper or other, but not gold. But the question is, Americans told them, the Soviet Union, don't go. That is our colony. But they cheated him. We are not. How can Russia, Soviet Union, with all these engineers, fail to run a gold mine? They told him that. No. That time, China was not there. Nobody knew about China. Was not. They were also struggling. China was not there. But he went to China, Nkrumah, to tell them about the Chinese. Said, it's only Western countries. We are also struggling to develop. So Nkrumah, in the absence, he was going to Vietnam on a state visit. So the army took over.
While he was away?
I was there myself when they took over. While he was in he had even arrived in Vietnam. He was on a state visit.
So what was the emotion in Ghana at that time? And also for you personally, did you feel like the ideals of Nkrumah, the dreams of Nkrumah were in tatters? Or did you feel it was an external problem, that they were against Africa?
No,
how did you personally?
Yes, what you have said is correct. Because that time, when I told you that, we were even told by Minister of Foreign Affairs, we ambassadors and so on, because of shortages, you are allowed, you can go to buy from nearest country. I mean, in other countries like Ivory Coast, Senegal, and so on, they had plenty. Everything was there. So if I wanted something, I had to go there, either by aeroplane or by road. Now, Nkrumah, because of shortages, now, although you pushed to organize the party, assured them that that was temporary. But the army did not like it, because also payments, the police payments, even uniforms, some uniforms, to import uniforms, because to import from Soviet Union.
So what was the mood of the people on the ground, and then yourself personally in Ghana at the time when the army took over?
Yes, when the army took over, there was a celebration. Not really those who supported Nkrumah, but other organized people, celebration in the streets and so on, for overthrowing him, supported the army. Of course, some of us were just sorry. But this is how it could be. So Nkrumah from there, Vietnam, he went to Guinea. First of all, he went to, because he married an Egyptian woman. That time, President Nasser invited him, and they even called the wife went to Egypt because the wife was an Egyptian. That you can come and stay in Egypt, but he said no. He has to go to Guinea. Sekou said, come, Sekou. So he went to Sekou, that is where he died. But the people, of course, they celebrated in the streets and so on. But that's why even Kaunda said, no, we have to close the mission. We cannot support coup d'etat. We can support the change through a ballot paper.
But not through a coup d'etat.
Not military coup.
Okay.
So we closed the mission in 1966 when it was overthrown. Okay, and I was brought back here to Zambia.
So, I think it's mentioned somewhere that you were also a diplomat in Nigeria.
From Ghana, I was transferred to Nigeria.
And that was the time of...
And unfortunately, in Nigeria, there was civil war.
The Biafra war.
General Ironshi immediately was killed by the North. Because the coup d'etat started in Nigeria. That was the beginning of coup d'etat, before it moved to Ghana. And then the Nigerian government formed a government, army. General Ironshi was the president of Nigeria. Then, because those who was a northerner, originated from south, Igbos. So which means the northerners considered that the Igbos have overthrown the Hausas.
The northerners.
The northern. Mm-hmm. So to them, they held responsible for the Igbos to have overthrown the Hausas from government. So when Ironshi became the army as a general and president of Nigeria as an army officer, he was an Igbo. I presented my credentials on Friday
to Ironshi.
Then on Monday, Ironshi visited northern Nigeria, the Hausas, and he was killed by the Hausas. They killed him. Then the civil war started. Then there was the difference between the Igbos and the Hausas. The Igbos, you killed Tafara Bareo. Now the Hausas have killed Irons, also a Igbo. That is how the civil war started. Now, which means the Igbos said, no, this is deliberate. It's just revenged. Now we are going to pull out, to secede from the Federation, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are going to pull out. And then they were led by, who was the Igbos? Who? Ojukwu, yes. And the Ojukwu campaigned. So that civil war, we were there. And until later on, Kaunda again said he cannot continue with the army. So the mission was closed and I was recalled. In Ghana, because of coup d'etat. In Nigeria, because of coup d'etat and the civil war.
So, as a freedom fighter, and then you went to prison for the fight for freedom, how did that feel personally, with all the dreams and anticipations, and then the countries that you went to, you saw that there was a coup, there was civil wars. What did it mean for you on a personal level about whether or not, you know, the post-independence era was worth it, fighting for freedom, was it worth it, or did you feel any...
So even myself, I didn't like that coup of Nkrumah. I knew that it was engineered by the Americans. I had information. And it was just most unfortunate, this is the information I must tell you. It was most unfortunate, Nkrumah had no vice president. So he was the president without vice president. Anytime he wanted to leave the country, he brought two chiefs, he brought him Minister of Defense, he brought him other people to form the government as vice president. And this whom he appointed had no powers to suppress any coup d'etat. Because both of four of them must agree. And the chief was in the rural area. The other one, so if he had the vice president, that coup would have not taken place.
So were you personally...
I knew myself they came to terror me from the army. They came to terror me at my house. I saw two young army officers came to terror me. That in Nkrumah will not come back. Can you tell Kaunda to tell him to come back? You know. Then I told them, no, I cannot myself. And how will Kaunda receive that message? When you have got Minister of Defense, you have got the Vice President. And when I made an appointment with the Minister of Defense, who was very close to Nkrumah, and he was on that committee of vice presidents. He was in his constituency. And he said, what does the ambassador want to see me? When his secretary told him, what does he want to see me, ambassador? Let him wait when I go back to I even told my officials that Nkrumah is not coming back. The army is taking it off, and the army is traveling from, like Kabwe. Those who overthrew Nkrumah were like the army in Kabwe, to travel during the night to come and overthrow him.
So they're very close to the capital.
Yes, while he was absent.
So did that disappoint you personally when Nkrumah left?
Yes, it did. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to bring Africa together. And Zambia was surrounded. Then he's the one who came out to help Kaunda to be brave. Then when he was thrown, Kaunda completely remained alone. I must tell you, Kamuzu Banda, he never even met freedom fighters. He said, I fought alone. You must also fight alone. Nyerere He said, I have no money to help you. I tell you, Zambia, you Zambians, the depth of helping freedom fighters is deeper than you. It's only some of us like myself who knows how Zambia suffered to support these freedom fighters. So which means the civil war in Nigeria, I was not happy because we wanted artists in Nigeria to remain. Although they were not as in Nkrumah, but they supported us. They supported the freedom fighters.
So you wanted Nigeria to remain?
Yes. Now that is the position. I was not happy with the coup in Nigeria, so which went up to secession, civil war, and the killing of the Igbos was sad. Now in northern Nigeria, they went wherever an Igbo, a Yoruba was, they were killing. You
had reports of this?
Yes.
On the ground.
Now after they succeeded killing the president, an Igbo president, now they went now wherever there were Igbos. So, that even annoyed Ojukwu to secede. It was a massacre, killing the Igbos.
So what was Zambia's position at that time on Biafra?
Yes, because in Biafra they didn't reiterate. There were also some Hausas. But Ojukwu said no. These people came here and we have been with them. Some who were in danger Hausas just also escaped themselves, pulled out from Biafra. But not in the northern. They just hated killing because you are the people who killed Tafara Bareo.
Okay.
So that is the position.
Most of Africa now is approaching 60 years, some are over 60, in terms of since independence. So on a personal level and throughout your career, now that you're retired, do you feel are you satisfied with what Africa has become, what Zambia has become, or do you have certain regrets of the post-independence era in general, in the last 60 or so?
Firstly, I want to tell you, one-party system covered the entire Africa. It was almost a system of governance. Then, no elections. But for Zambia, it was good because we were surrounded. But let me tell you the truth. When I was Saudi Arabia's ambassador, the Minister of Foreign Affairs invited all ambassadors from Africa, Minister of Foreign Affairs in Saudi Arabia. When we were called, they said, we are telling you, go and tell all your leaders, your presidents, to abandon one-party system. Because to them, one-party system was synonymous with communism. The Muslims didn't like communism. Just like Saudi Arabia, and they had no diplomatic relations with the Soviet Union or China because of communism.
And Saudi Arabia was pro-Western.
Yes, they considered them as people never believed in God. communism, to them, it was against God.
So were you?
So I let me tell you, now when we were called, we were said, also one-party system, socialism in Africa, tell them to abandon. We are helping Reagan and Thatcher to destroy Soviet Union. We are funding them. After that, then they will come to Africa to dismantle one-party system, which they considered as communism. So this is how we suffered. We went back. Kaunda, I told him what they've said. My friend in Tanzania told Nyerere. Nyerere and my friend who we met at Mbara airport. Kaunda and myself, the Nyerere. Then we reported. Nyerere told Kaunda that Kaunda, we have done enough for the struggle of these people. Now, let us give way. Nyerere told Kaunda that I am stepping down. I will give him mwenye. It is gradually to go back to Mati Party. And you step down. Give another one. To start going back to Mati Party. He made it clear that this Thatcher and Reagan are going to destroy Soviet Union. Kaunda refused. That, Muzee, I mean, how was it called? Nyerere. Mwalimu. No, Mwalimu, I cannot step down before South Africa, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, achieve independence. Nyerere said, they are going to achieve. The Americans themselves are going to tell the Portuguese. They are going to tell South Africa to release Bandera and so on. You yourself, you have no powers. It's only America. Kaunda refused. Nyerere fulfilled. He stepped down. And up to now, Nyerere's party is in power. Because gradually, they started going back to Mati Party. But ourselves remained. And the suffering began. So, Soviet Union was destroyed until it went back to Russia. It's now Soviet Union, is Russia. Now a small Russia is no longer superpower. This is Reagan and Thatcher. These people are still powerful. If they target you, even this IMF we are struggling. It is only America can say, give Zambia money. So we shall get it. But as long as you start struggling with them, yes, this is the people new leaders. You are America, Britain. They've still colonized us.
So in general, now speaking, are you satisfied with anything, or do you feel there's something that you regret in particular throughout your career over the past?
You mean this time?
Yeah, when looking back, do you have any regrets?
Yes.
Just in general, freedom fighting, your diplomatic career, in service in government?
Yes, now, from the time we attained independence, the economy was quite good. Copper price was good. The British continued. Until when we became one party, and the Kaunda attempted to nationalize mines, especially mines, and industries which belong to the British. Then they changed.
started getting worse.
IMF condition. Let counter pay. At one time, because you were young, when counter said they are away with the IMF. But later on, counter started auctioning kwacha. It was on the auction. You are young. Did you hear about it? The auction started, people could come and auction money, kwacha. This one, I've got so much dollars, can you give me so much kwacha? Another one, yes. It was sad. Auctioning money. To get kwacha from individuals to pay for the importation of goods. Bank of Zambia was dry. So which means, myself, from my experience, I even had to see the king of Saudi Arabia to help us how far we have gone to auction money. But the king of Saudi Arabia said no. Tero kaunda, no country has auctioned the money. Then the kwacha will become useless paper. But I'm giving money to IMF because they get money from Saudi Arabia. I'm giving money to IMF on the condition that they must give money to Kaunda. Because everything was stopped.
Yeah.
Then we went back to IMF through Saudi Arabia, we got money. Then we started functioning.
Okay. So the last question is if there is one particular message you'd like to leave for younger African generations based off of your own personal experience, what would it be?
No, the only, although most of the freedom fighters are dead, we are only 5 remaining. Namely, Vedon Mwanga, Sikota Wina, Alex Chikwanda, Kapuru, and myself. All freedom fighters are dead. Now my message is for the new generation is in view of the growing population. Because Zambia, when we attained independence, we were only 2 million. Now, what is the population of Zambia now?
18 million.
We are about 20 million. Almost 25 million. Now, the new generation is protect land. Because the land is very important. Should not allow an individual or a group of individuals to possess the whole land. Because some have started, even they are going in the rural areas to buy land. Like in Northwestern Province, where they go to buy land, get title deed. Just like what the whites did. Here where we are sitting, it was a farm for an individual. That a person who bought land from the airport up to the turn-off, and is selling gradually. Others, when you go to Copper Belt, who bought land just for the future. But now they are selling because people now want land. Now land is important. Should not allow an individual to buy huge land. Protect land for the growing generation. You are crowded here. Later on, land will become very important. Even people will start going in the rural areas to look for land where to settle a farm. Secondly, corruption can destroy the country. We leaders must be genuine, just as we were in UNIP. Perhaps that is why many freedom fighters and those who served under Kaunda are dead, because we never prepared ourselves how we are going to survive. Because Kaunda insisted you are going to be looked after by UNIP. You are going to be looked after by UNIP. Now UNIP is overthrown. There came another generation. So every freedom fighter died. Because with me, this house, I had to get permission from State House to build this house. Kaunda has to sign. Yes, where will you find the money to pay back a loan? Mwanakatwe was the Minister of Finance. That we shall be transferring money from his salary to Permanent Building Society, where I got a loan to build this house. You can see a complication. Leadership code was tough. Even Kaunda himself had no house except Chambarakar. And that house, I'm telling you, it was built by Zeko. Okay. Zeko was building 3 secondary schools. 2 secondary schools in Chinsari. Out of the material they built him a house. Okay. Chambarakar. Yes, so now this generation of government is a completely new generation. Must fulfill their promises to the electorates, and they must ensure that the growing population is taken. The population is also wealthy. You know, population is also wealthy. That is why China, population of billion, is wealthy. Because each one is producing out of billion. India, because of population. Even in Zambia, population is wealthy. They must control the population, direct them what to do as government. What even Nyerere said, we should not think of cash from IMF. Let us turn around to the population. Each one must contribute to the growth of wealth. So, the new generation, corruption must be reduced. Must be sincere and honest. Not to rush to become a leader and accumulate wealth. No, that is not leadership. Kaunda has died as a very clean man. What I'm saying is true. I was a provincial minister in the Northern Province. Kaunda, had it not been for Mandela, had it not been for Chisano, had it not been, all these heads of state whom we helped during the struggle came to help him. That is why. Otherwise, he left government without money. He was not a thief.